there are conversations happening that kind of exclude the role of parents as being able to make these decisions, intervene, decide whether or not their kids can have phones in the first place, et cetera. What do you make of these arguments that seem to ignore the extent to which there are parents ostensibly or caregivers in the home that should be playing a role here, as opposed to pivoting everything into this kind of rather authoritarian governmental sphere?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you. And I think, it's great when social media companies give parents the tools to limit their children's use, or put different controls on there to have different, levels of privacy and security available for teens. But when you ban it outright, or some of these things, like they create a duty of care so that social media companies could be sued if they make available any content that could harm children. And like you said, we see a lot of very expanded definitions of harm right now. So, some people think like, oh, anything that could harm children, of course, that's got to be, very serious, dangerous stuff. But we have legislators in some states trying to define anything related to LGBT people as harmful. We have, any information about contraception and abortion as harmful. Any information about certain, theories around race as harmful. So I think that, if you give the government this power, it could end up being used in a very broad way to define harm against kids.
Sit quietly and do nothing like a good little girl. Ha 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 ha!
Well, we're getting closer and closer to Christmas. It's just around the corner. New Year's and 2025 begins. But we're concentrating on this week, and we have a couple of adult stories here for you. We also have some stuff from streaming, some theatrical Christmas stuff that's coming out, and of course we're going to squeeze in a little bit of New York, including a story that basically a particular company is getting a liquor license. And I'll give you a hint. They sell coffee, and it's not Starbucks. But you'll have to wait to catch that. That'll be on this week. And we got a lot more. And just as a programming note, we will be winding down the year. You'll see between Christmas and New Year's, our videos will be split up in a bit because of the holiday, obviously, on there, because the holiday falls on a weekday this year, midweek actually. So we'll be splitting it up a bit, and then we'll return back to normal about the second week of January on that, just as a programming note. But let's take a skip and run over to the United Kingdom. And what is going on with Pornhub? You know that there's some rules, some age verification that's going on, online regulations. There's a lot of, how you call it? There is a lot of rumors that basically they're going to avoid the age verification. Is this true? Is this not? That there's a loophole? It's hard to say to this point. But we're going to read this article, and basically it may put a little bit more sense to the insanity. Of course, hat tip to XBIZ and Rick Lewis. Pornhub rejects claim it plans to avoid age verification in the United Kingdom. Pornhub parent company Aylo told XBIZ on Monday that a recent report claiming the site will use a loophole to sidestep age verification requirements under the UK's Online Safety Act is misleading and that the company will always ensure that its site are compliant. The political conservative UK newspaper, The Telegraph, last week published a sensationalistic report claiming that Pornhub has said that it would not be covered by age verification requirements under the OSA on the grounds that the site does not qualify as a provider of pornographic content under OSA rules, as they are being implemented by the United Kingdom's media regulator, Ofcom. The world's biggest porn website will be able to avoid imminent age checks across its websites, the Telegraph article reads. The story since has been picked up by other news outlets. Aylo confirmed that to XBIZ that it expects to be classified under Part 3 of the OSA rather than Part 5, since it publishes user-generated content. However, such classification does not constitute avoidance of provider obligations. A quote from Ofcom in the same article even mentions Pornhub by name in clarifying that the Part 5 duties of pornographic providers are due to come into force in January, largely covered by premium pay sites, and that the majority of the online pornography services accessed in Britain, such as Pornhub, will be covered by later rules covering child safety. On Friday, Ofcom posted information clarifying what kinds of services are required to comply with each section of the OSA and when. Platforms that publish their own pornographic content, Part 5, must take immediate steps to start introducing highly effective age, and you're going to be hearing a lot of this. We've heard it already from the Australians. Age assurance. That's the new term. Not a verification anymore. Age assurance measures in line with our guidance. The update reads, sites that are allowed user-generated pornographic content, Part 3 services, must carry out assessments to confirm whether under 18 are able to access the content on their platforms. The Ofcom statement adds that by July 2025, all platforms must have a highly effective age assurance solution in place to protect under 18. This case, whether a service publishes its own pornographic content or allow user-generated pornographic content. Aylo told XBIZ, we are monitoring develops. Will always ensure our sites are in compliant. As XBIZ reported, age verification is listed among the UK government's priorities for implementing of OSA. But see, here is the issue. And it doesn't really go into it that much, but from what we understand, for the laws that are in the United Kingdom, the difference is that here, and what is the confusion, is that basically Pornhub has user-generated content. In other words, it's more like an OnlyFans situation. Not that they produce their own content, which in a way there is some, not a lot. This is more, think of it as more like YouTube. When, like myself, many other, we put up content on there. The way the UK is seeing it, and I could be wrong on that, and the way I've been reading the law, is that basically, because we are more closer to a YouTube, it doesn't fall in the same category as an actual porn site. Like, for example, Wicked.com, bringing that up, or basically any of the other pay service websites that handle pornography straight out. So you may say to yourself, "Oh, this is a loophole." Well, no, they're following the law. If the law statute states this is the way it is, it's the way it is. But see, the thing about it is, this is just only pure censorship in the United Kingdom, and eventually this is going to come down to a header. There is a discontent of the people of the United Kingdom. Basically, there are issues going on, protests of all natures. Ofcom, it is just literally, you might as well call it the Bureau of Censorship. Because that's what it is. One thing, and I've always said this, it should be up to the parents' right to whether what their children are looking at on the internet. It's the same way if what they're watching on television. You know, what is it different? Okay, I'm gonna put in this other words. What is the difference between some of the programming on Pornhub versus some of the programming that's on Netflix or Max? Can you guess? Yes. The differences is basically it's not that far in between. And what I'm talking about is, yes, there are movies that have sex. Some of it tame, some of it very graphic on Netflix, on Max, and a lot of other streaming sites. We can name a lot of films. I go with movies like Body Double, Dress to Kill, Red Shoe Diaries, and I can go on and on and on. You know, these are on these sites. And these sites, parents have their children on. But they're not being attacked. Well, not as of yet, but I eventually, you know, once they curb the porn industry, they're going to go after them next. And I've always said this. See, like I said, it should be up to the parent. And there are many, many ways to do it. There are programs you can purchase, or you could use your own protection software, you know, like Bitdefender or many of the others that are out there, you know, for inexpensive. Right now, this is the time of year to buy them. I just bought my update for about $20. Yeah, I spent about $20 on my update, which is normally about $60. $60. You know, I use Bitdefender. It's really, really good. You know, I even get a VPN out of it too. But yeah, like I said, you could block these sites. Government intervention should not be involved into this at all. But see, the thing about it is, this is what, you know, the New World Order, this is what they're trying to do throughout the world, to try to control, you know, what you're watching and shame you for the stuff you're watching. That's what they want to do. This is the new Puritans. It's not only governments, it's also the United Nations, it's also banking, credit card processors, Visa. You know, we've discussed this before about anime and the attack on anime and manga in Japan, that Visa is trying to censor them. You know, go Amex. Because we haven't heard Amex try to do this. You know, and we also heard of radical religious groups that are going after content that, you know, they're trying to say, oh, porn is bad, and they try to push all of these scientific research papers that just basically has no basis to the nature. It's the same stuff that gets quoted, like, for example, just recently last week on the Supreme Court hearings on transgender care for children, and you listen to some of the supposed experts to the situation and said, well, we have all this info data, stuff like that, you know, proves that it doesn't cause self-deletion on that. No, you're just making some of this stuff up. It's so simple to write something on a piece of paper and saying, hey, this is our research. No, you have to have backing. You have to have independent verifiers to do this. That's why, you know, most of these scientific papers that come out don't have verification from independent researchers. People that basically don't have a line to, you know, say like, yeah, they're paying us. But, you know, they're there to verify what's on there. And we've heard this many times on certain research papers, but you know, now these days you don't get that kind of backing on there, because a lot of this stuff, I mean, it's been proven. There was a couple of comedians who went out, wrote some crazy research papers, and they were okayed by certain universities, and they printed them, they posted them. Think about that for a minute. But we'll see what happens with this. So comment. Let me know your thoughts about this. Don't forget to hit that like, share this video, and hopefully today's the day I've earned your subscription. So until next time, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to check out all of our other videos, including Taco Thursday, which will be, of course, obviously, on Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern, here on YouTube and Rumble. So have a good week. We'll see you on the next video. Thank you for clicking on it, and bye-bye now.